Guys, we're just in there, around the corner from where I live. There was a young kid who lived up here. There was 5 of them. There was about a 5 or 6 year old, 7 or 8, 9, 10. I think about 12, 13 he was. Called him Chrissy. He looked after his 4 little brothers, so his mum and dad were out to the shop. They were at Tesco's where we've just been. And when they were out, you know, like all kids fight neighbours, and he's fighting it 2 days later, the best of friends. So Chrissy's little brother was out, about 5 or 6 year old, fighting with the kid next door, who was about 7 year old. And they were having like fighting on the front. Anyway, Chrissy went over and said, "Oh, we behave yourself, break it up, break it up." And he broke it up. But the man next door was about 6 foot, ran out, punched Chrissy in the face. He hit the floor. "Fucking, it's 1-to-1 fair fight," you shouting like to him. Anyway, Chrissy went, they're only kids anyway. Chrissy, when he got up anyway, he jumped on his collarbone, snapped his collarbone, kicked him in the ribs, hurt his ribs. So anyway, that was like on the day. So they were going to have to move them out of the house because they lived right next door, so it was like a danger for him to stay there. So they were going to have to move him to Yam, the whole family, right, relocate them all. So anyway, he was round mine on the night. He told me the story. I went, "You stay at mine, son, if you want." So anyway, the thingy come, like a probation bloke come, and a social worker. Obviously, you have to check in, obviously, so he could stay at mine. So the cops come by one day and they said, "Are you staying here, Chrissy?" "Yeah, Brian's let me stay here." He said, "Oh, you're in the safest house in the world now, son. We won't have to look after you." So I took him in. It was about 6 months before it went to court. And he could see his mum and everything. They popped around, his dad and things like that. But he stayed at mine for six months. So the court case went up. The bloke got a suspended sentence. But what he done, the man, after about a month, I went round to get some stuff off his family because he couldn't go around Chrissy about it. And as he seen me, I said, "You fucking wanker, have a go with me, you big man. Come on, have a go with me. I'm man to man, meet you." And his ass went. So about 3 days later, the for sale sign went up, but he was there for a few months. But Chrissy stayed there. So what happened is, and he ended up going back home when the court case was over and everything. But it was about 15 years later, maybe about 15 years later, something like that. I'm in a shop in Thornaby, getting a bit of shopping, and this kid's looking at me, like stood like this, like proper fit, you could tell he was super fit. And I was thinking, he's going to have a go here. So I was just get myself prepared in case he was one of these little, you get a few of them now and then having a go. "Don't remember me, do you?" I thought, "Here we go." So I said, "No." He said, "I'm Chrissy." I went, "Oh my God." I said, "You're massive." He said, "I'm in the army now." He said, "What you taught me all that time, you said get a job in the house where you're going to be an electrician or a plumber." He said, "Well, I've got a job and I'm a plumber." And I was like tears in my eyes because I was like, I've taught him something, and it's like I'm over the moon. It's helped him. So he joined the army, become a plumber. He said, "See this little girl? This is my daughter." So she was about 2.5, 3 year old, like that little kid. He holding his hand. I said, "Oh, come here, son, give him a cuddle." Lump at me throat, off the brilliance, you know. So got himself a job, got himself a house, married and everything. So it just shows you that you can change your life around, because he was in and out of trouble all the time. And yeah, stayed with me 6 months, put him back on his feet, and since that day, installed that, me brainwashing him, getting him right. So yeah, another great story.